I was hanging around with had changed a little bit. Some of the I think around that same time, kind of drugs had entered into my life, like
Oh, did it?
alcohol,
Mm,
marijuana. Yeah, those
mm.
things had started entering into my life.
How did
Um,
it? When did that? You remember how that happened? Like when did that happen for you? How?
I don't know, 15ish, somewhere around there, maybe 14, 15, 15. Seems around about 15. Maybe that kind of stuff started entering into my life. Some of it was just through friends, some of it was through association, some of it was through like family associations, um, and it was just it helped to numb some of the pain, I guess you could say, of probably all of that life, you could say, that was transacting in there. Like it was a way to bring calm to the storm, so to
And
speak.
what type of calm were you seeking? Like what pain were you trying to um numb from? Like what type of numbing were you trying to like
Mm,
from what in particular?
I think it was just probably just the weight of probably carrying as a child, maybe more so what adults would have carried. I don't think that children are born for that. So I think that
Yes.
you can
Hmm.
assume roles that you're not maybe supposed to do. And I think when you assume roles that you're not supposed to maybe take on, they have consequences. And sometimes those consequences take a while before they begin to come into fruition, so to speak. And also, I think at that time, my mom had gotten remarried in there too. And
Hmm. And that
so,
was an adjustment.
yeah, that was an adjustment. And then also, I think, I probably also got a chance to step back a little bit because my stepdad did start coming in and fulfilling some other roles. And so I think that that also, changes the way you look at things maybe, because you like now you can breathe. It's like
Right. I was going to say that that
when
was
you
a
get the
sense of
chance
relief
to
for you.
breathe, it's like, okay,
Yes.
now you got to
Now
process.
you can live a little bit more.
Yeah, and then on
So
top of that,
yeah.
you have to process. I think some of that you now are beginning to process what kind of has transacted over the this period of time, and then on top of that, like I said, my parents were both therapists, so our dinner conversations were a little bit more introspective. You're discussing things that maybe are a little bit more about how are you feeling, how are you doing, how are things going. So that's causing introspection at the same time. And sometimes I think it can be difficult to look at ourselves. And then sometimes I think it's difficult to assess our situations, and
Right.
it can be overwhelming. I'm sure
Again.
people can empathize with that. And I think
Yes.
that that's why a lot of people begin to self-medicate, is because sometimes you're not ready to deal with it. Sometimes you don't want to deal with it. And instead of going to, for me, because I was not raised religious, instead of like turning to God the Father to come in as the Prince of Peace and to work through some of that with me, and to get the soothing, we'll say, in a right way. Sometimes it's easier to go to a counterfeit, and the counterfeit was marijuana and alcohol.
Okay. And yes. So what would you say? Like, speaking of self-reflection, you know, what would you what would you say to this young man here in this space that you're in right now? What advice would you give him? Like, okay, let me just put the scenario out there. You're like this guard, you were this young man's guardian angel right now. You're
Uh-huh.
speaking from a present person's in your perspective right now as a pastor, as a man that you are right now, and you're kind of looking in the mirror at him. Like you look in the mirror, you see in that face, right? You see in that face,
Uh-huh.
right? So, what would you tell him?
Get to know Jesus, A. That would be my A. Get to know Jesus, trust Jesus, deal with some of the things that you may not have dealt with. I would also encourage counseling, because I think that a lot of times pastors are afraid of
Pastor,
the idea.
you no, you're not talking to me. Talk to him.
Oh, that is to him. Yeah, I would encourage
No,
counseling to
like
that
you
brother
need,
right
like
there.
I need for you. You need to.
Oh, I need for you,
I need for
him.
you, him, you, right, to seek. Yes, you
Yeah,
talking
I
to
need
him.
for you, him to seek the
Have that
Lord.
conversation. Yeah.
A. I need for you, him to seek the Lord. I need for you, him to definitely reach out to a therapist so that you're able to express where you are, what you're feeling, how you're feeling, the things that you're going through. And um, man, I need to get some good hair right there. I like that hair. I might need to bring that back. Let me think about. No, I think those are really the pinnacles to me for me in that situation because I remember that time very well. And I think
Yeah,
that
where were you here? Where were you?
I think that's Georgia actually, if I'm not mistaken. That is in Georgia.
Really?
Yeah, that was like early Georgia days. That's probably looks like that was posted around what 2010. So that had been like 3 years after getting to Georgia, and maybe
Okay. Mhm.
it might. Let me see. Oh, I said 45, 2006. That must have been right there when I got to Georgia. And I came to Georgia with good intentions.
So what space were you in here? What space were you in at that time? You remember what space were you in?
Yeah, I came to Georgia with the good intentions. I was coming down here actually to change life because I was like, I needed to get away from what I knew. I knew that the Lord at this point in time had spoke to me and said essentially these words, the same thing that came in the Old Testament to Abraham, get thee away from thy family and thy kindred and go to a place where I will show you. And he said
Yes.
that if you leave this place, I will get you family, that and much more family if you go to where I tell you. And at this point in time, I had already known that I was called into the ministry and I was actually pursuing, it was going to be actively pursuing it. So I actually came down to Georgia to get away from what I knew, the family, my surroundings, because the surroundings I was in, it was kind of like a black hole. So I knew that if I stayed in this place, that it was going to kind of suck me in and that I had a much bigger destiny that was before
Yeah,
me.
got you.